Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. Let's get started. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Uddama bhava pishuna malavalguhasa vridavaloka madano piyasa sammuya chapamajahat pramadottamasta yasyendriyam vimathitum kuhakairnashekuhu. Bhavadvidha Bhagavata Stirthabhuta Swayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantasthena Gadabhrita Tulayamalavena Pina Swargam na Punarbhavam Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya Martyanam Kimutashishaha. Tiraskrita vipralabdha shapta kshipta hata api nasyata pratikurvanti tad bhakta prabhavopihi unascha bhuyad bhagavatanante rati prasanga shatadashrayeshu mahatsu yamyam upayami shrishtim maitrastu sarvat.
That he prepared himself to meet death.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. Let us continue with our study of Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam through this Bhakti Vaibhava course, Module 2. And we are going to read today from Canto 1, Chapter 12, entitled The Birth of Maharaj Parikshit, text number 3 onwards. So verse number 3. Shaunak Ādi Rishis, the sages at Naimisharanya, specifically Shaunak Rishi, he, on behalf of all the sadhus, he is asking Shri Suta Goswami about the birth and the activities and the death of Maharaj Parikshit. Shaunak Rishi is asking Shri Suta Goswami that Maharaj Parikshit was protected in the womb of his mother from the dangerous Brahmastra weapon. He lived a glorious life. Can you tell us about his birth, his activities, and his death? Text 3. Tad idam shrotum ichhamo gaditum yadi manyase bruhina shraddadhananam yasya jnanam tada shukaha. Very important. Yasya jnanam ada shukaha. One who received transcendental knowledge from Shri Shukdev Goswami. We want to hear about Parikshit Maharaj because he received transcendental knowledge from Shri Shukdev Goswami. You see, the value of a disciple, please note down, the value of a disciple is how well the disciple has heard from Shri Guru. You see, clearly it said, Yasya Jnanam Ada Shukaha. We want to hear about Parikshit Maharaj. We want to hear about Parikshit Maharaj with great Shraddha, with great respect and faith. Bruhina, please speak to us. Bruhi means please speak and Naha means to us. Please speak to us. Shraddha Dhanana. Because we very respectfully, with Shraddha, we want to hear about Maharaj Parikshit, Yasya Jnanam Dada Shukaha, who received knowledge from Sri Shukdev Goswami. So Parikshit Maharaj has value because Parikshit Maharaj heard from his Guru Maharaj, Srila Shukdev Goswami. If the Guru is potent and the disciple is fertile, then Bhakti is born. For a child to take birth, we need a potent father and a fertile mother. Then there is pregnancy, then there is child. Similarly, Bhakti is born, Bhakti Lata Beach grows when there is a potent Guru. The Guru should be potent, Sadguru. And the disciple should be a Sad Shishya. The disciple should be fertile, receptive. If the disciple is fertile like Parikshit Maharaj and Gurudev is powerful like Sri Shukacharya, then Śrīmad Bhāgavatam manifests. So, translations and purports by our beloved founder Acharya, Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtottar Shata Shri Śrīmad Abhay Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ji Maharaj ki Jai. Translation to verse number 3. Shaunak Rishi is saying to Sri Suta Goswami, we all respectfully want to hear about Maharaj Parikshit, to whom Sri Shukdev Goswami imparted transcendental knowledge. Please speak on this matter. They are requesting, please speak about Maharaj Parikshit. We want to hear. Purport. Shukdev Goswami imparted transcendental knowledge to Maharaj Parikshit during the last 7 days of his life. And Maharaj Parikshit heard Sri Shukdev Goswami properly, just like an ardent student. And the effect of such a bona fide hearing and recitation of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam was equally shared by both the hearer and the chanter. So who benefited? The hearer and the chanter, both benefited. Prabhupada says, both of them were benefited. And even the others who were there and heard, they also benefited. Can you give me one more example from the recitation of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam as mentioned in the 3rd canto? Some bystander benefiting from hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam? Yes. Ramsham Prabhuji, please go ahead.
So, Mother Devavati heard from that Kapila Muni, Lord Kapila Dev.
No. So that was Kapila Dev, Shri Kapila Dev, Bhagwan Kapil Dev was speaking to his mother, Devhuti. Mother Devhuti was asking questions.
Yeah.
And our Kapil Dev was speaking to her specifically. I am saying that here Shaunak Rishi is asking Suta Goswami and Shaunak Rishi is benefiting. Suta Goswami is benefiting by speaking. Shaunak Rishi is benefiting by hearing. But the other thousands of sages, it is said 88,000 sages at Naimisharanya who were listening. They also benefited because of hearing. Similarly, Maharaj Parikshit is asking questions to Sri Shukdev Goswami. Both of them are benefiting as hearer and the speaker. But the other sadhus who had assembled on the banks of Ganga when Maharaj Parikshit was hearing from Srila Shukdev Goswami, they also all benefited. Even though they were not the primary audience. The primary audience was Maharaj Parikshit, for whose sake Śrīmad Bhāgavatam was being spoken. But others were listening in, they also benefited. So the point is, the speaker of Bhāgavatam benefits because he's repeating the words of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. The listener hears, and others who happen to be there, they also listen, they also benefit. That is the point we are trying to make. In the third kind of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, there is one more example like this, where a bystander benefits. Sandeep Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Maitreya Muni, when he heard from Bhagavan Shri Krishna and
Krishna is speaking to Uddhavji.
Yes.
At Prabhas Kshetra. And Maitreya Muni happens to be there. And he hears with faith. He becomes so perfect that he becomes qualified to instruct Vidurji.
Yes.
He becomes the guru of Vidurji. Very good. So like that. Srila Prabhupada is saying both of them were benefited. The hearer and the chanter. Perfect questions, perfect answers. Out of the 9 different transcendental means of devotional service, the Navavidha Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Ityadi, which the Lord has prescribed in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 7th Canto, either all of them, like Ambarish Maharaj, or some of them, or even one of them, are equally beneficial if properly done. Srila Prabhupada is saying, the Navavidha Bhakti is so powerful. Bhajanera Madhya Shrestha, Navavidha Bhakti. Krishna Prem Krishna Dite, Dhare Mahashakti. Mahaprabhu's Vachan. All the 9 processes are very powerful. Prabhupada says you do any one properly, it is enough to take you back to God. Or you may do several of them, or you may do all of them. It depends on the inclination of the devotee. But any one of them is enough to make one's devotional service perfect. Now, further down in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says something very, very relevant to our times. It's also funny. Let me read it. Listen carefully. There is a type of a spiritual master and disciple. They are much advertised in this age of Kali. It is said that the spiritual master injects spiritual force into the disciple by an electric current generated by the spiritual master, and the disciple begins to feel the shock. The disciple becomes unconscious, and the spiritual master weeps, for he has exhausted his store of spiritual assets. Such drama. Such bogus advertisement is going on in this age, and the poor common man is becoming the victim of such advertisement. The Prabhupada Ji Maharaj says, we do not find such folk tales in the dealings of Sri Shukdev Goswami and his glorious disciple, Maharaj Parikshit Ji. Ye sab nahi hua tha. Prabhupada Ji says, Maharaj Parikshit did not feel any shock of electric current from Shukdev Goswami. So this is all bogus. Real guru-disciple relationship is based on tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. First we have to find a tattvadarshi guru. Then, according to the proper vidhi, we have to surrender. Pranipat means to surrender. Pranipat means to surrender, to offer obeisances. Guru padashraya, that is pranipat. Tadvidhi pranipatena. First to surrender to the guru. Recognize the guru as bona fide. Once you are convinced that the guru is bona fide, you completely surrender to the guru. Then no going back and forth. Tadvidhi pranipatena. According to the Shastra Vidhi, you test the guru, make sure the guru is a pure devotee. Then you do pranipat. Completely surrender to the guru. Tadvidhi pranipatena. Once you have surrendered, then in a humble mood, tad vijnanartham. Guru meva bhigacchi. Then to get spiritual vigyan, you approach the spiritual master and you ask questions. Pariprashna. You inquire from spiritual master, like Sanatan Goswami inquired. Who am I? What is the purpose of life? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? What is the way out? So that is the way of questioning the spiritual master, with the intention of gaining knowledge, not with the intention of challenging, or not with the intention of appearing very wise in the assembly. Look, I am asking so many nice questions. That is not the intention. The intention is to really grow spiritually, to improve. Pariprashnena. You ask questions, intelligent questions, meant for your spiritual upliftment. And then you serve the Guru. Just by asking question and hearing the answer, nothing will happen unless you do seva. Therefore, tadvidhi pranipat, for surrender. Pariprashna, you ask spiritual questions that will benefit you spiritually, the answers of which will reveal the path of bhakti for you. Pariprashna, and then sevaya. By seva, everything will be revealed. Divya jnana hriday prakashito. Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyete kathitai artha prakashante. Mahatma. When we have equal bhakti for Guru and Krishna, then by serving the Guru, just like you serve Krishna, all the divya jnana hriday prakashito, it will get automatically revealed. Prakashante. Mahatma, in a great devotee, it will be revealed. Everything will be revealed. It's a descending process. With our own academic learning, we may be able to read the text and explain it very nicely to others and impress others with our knowledge. I have read this book, I have read that book. That is not the path of perfection, because it is not an ascending process, my dear friends. It is not. Otherwise, why do you need a guru? Just learn the language of the scriptures, learn Bengali, learn Sanskrit, learn Awadhi. Just read the scripture, learn Braj Bhasha. Just read the scriptures directly in their language. Aisa nahi hota. It is not so easy. Just reading the language, reading the scriptures. No. We have to serve the Guru. How did Maharaj Parikshit serve Shukdev Goswami? Please raise your hand. Pariprashnena sevaya. Upadekshanti, Diksha. Upadekshanti te jnanam, jnanas tattvadarshi. The tattvadarshi Guru who has seen Krishna. Tattvadarshi. Tattvadarshi. Krishna is the Param Tattva. One who has seen Krishna can impart real knowledge. Tattvadarshi Guru. So seva is important. What did Parikshit Maharaj do for Shukdev Goswami? What seva did he do? Please raise your hands. Yes, Kirtana Sundari Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. So the best, done with pranam, sorry, stopped out. The best seva that Parikshit Maharaj did was hearing the instructions of Shukdev Goswami with rapt attention, lending his...
Very nice. And because of that, what is the name for Parikshit Maharaj? Ugra. Who knows? Ugra Shrava. In Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Maharaj Parikshit is called as Ugra Shrava, one who with intensity he heard.
Sorry, Prabhu, I was not able to unmute myself.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ugra Shrava. Yes, thank you. Yes, he gave himself to Shukdev Goswami. Here I am. I will not eat. I will not drink. I will not go anywhere. I will not sleep. I am yours. You are speaking Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and I am here, hearing with rapt attention, like Mataji said. That is the biggest gift we can give. I like to tell the story of one devotee who had gifted a wall clock to his guru's ashram, and on that he wrote his name, such and such Bhakt, Supreme Bhet. And nice big wall clock, and he gifted the Guru, and it was put in the Kirtan hall on the wall. And he was a police inspector, this donor who gave the clock, police inspector. And he came after 6 months and he saw that the clock, his Supreme Bhet, is not there on the wall. So he started asking the brahmacharis, "Hey, where is that clock I donated? Kidhar gaya? Kisne nikala udhar se? Where is it gone?" He started inquiring. And the Guru Maharaj was sitting inside. He heard. And he was chastising the brahmacharis also. इतना महंगा था, क्लॉक लाया था मैंने, कहाँ निकाल दिया, उधर होना चाहिए ना. So Guru Maharaj came out and chastised him thoroughly. He said, कहाँ गया क्लॉक? फेंक दिया, कूड़े में फेंक दिया, क्या करोगे? Once you give a donation, why you want your name on that clock? And why you want to come and ask, where is it gone? You have given, na? So तुमको अधिकार नहीं है अभी कोई. You have given it. You have donated it. Now forget about it. Guru will do whatever the Guru wants with that clock. He will keep it on the wall. He will keep it on the table. He will throw it in the trash can. What adhikar do you have to ask? And you are chastising the brahmacharis? किधर रखा? लेके आओ. मैं खड़ा हूं यहाँ पर. Search it. Bring it. Where is it? Find. Who are you? You think you have given a donation? You have purchased your Guru Maharaj? It is mentioned in Prabhupada Lilamrit. Actually, not Prabhupada Lilamrit. It is mentioned in Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, the biography of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's Tithi is coming this Sunday. It is the disappearance day, the Tirobhav Tithi of Śrīmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada on this coming Sunday. So Srila Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj, he has written in his very wonderful, unique book, Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava. This very nice story, I like it very much. Please listen carefully. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada was giving a class, Bhagavatam class. I am forgetting which place it was. Maybe it was Allahabad, some place, I don't know. I don't remember the exact place. But in one of the mutt, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada was giving Bhagavatam class. And Srila Prabhupada was not initiated at that time. He was Abhay Babu. So our Prabhupada, at that time not initiated, Abhay Babu, he had gone to hear the class. And there was a wealthy donor who was sitting next to Prabhupada. Both of them were listening to the Katha. There were many other devotees also. And in the middle of the Katha, while the Katha is going on, this senior devotee who was a big donor, he was senior in age also. So he's asking Abhay Babu, who was in his 20s, some question, something he asked. And out of courtesy, Srila Prabhupada responded because he's a senior Vaishnava. Prabhupada responded. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada from the Vyasasana noticed that this donor Babu is talking to our Abhay Babu. So he pointed to the donor Babu. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada pointed to the donor and said, Babu, do you think you have purchased me with your 10 rupee donation? The Babu was petrified. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was called Simha Guru. He said, Babu, do you think you have purchased me with your 10 rupee donation? No? Then keep quiet. Don't speak. Bhagavatam has been spoken. Your job is to just listen. And then Simha Guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada looked at our Abhay Babu. And Srila Prabhupada was thinking, I wish I could just melt into the earth and disappear. He looked at Abhay Babu and told Abhay Babu, you like to talk? Why don't you come and sit here? Come and sit here and talk. And Srila Prabhupada says, I was feeling so ashamed, but at the same time, I was happy that my Guru Maharaj has chastised me. Because in the chastisement of Sri Guru, there is a lot of mercy. Those disciples make spiritual advancement who have been chastised by their Guru. I'm telling you, this is Bhakti Vaibhava, so I can speak from my heart, but this is a fact. That disciple who has been chastised by the Guru makes spiritual advancement. One sannyasi disciple fell down, got married. Hare Krishna. His Gurudev would ask him questions in the assembly when class is going on, and specifically questions about Ajamil Leela, about Chhota Haridas. And this disciple was very glorious. He had a change in ashram when it should not happen, but he was very humble about it. And he would stand up and he would openly talk. The lessons we learn from Ajamil, the lessons we learn from the life of Yayati and Devyani and Sharmishtha, and from the life of Priyavrat, and from the life of Chota Haridas. These were the questions that specifically he was asked. And he would stand up and with humility he would say, that disciple who is chastised by Guru makes spiritual advancement, my dear friends. You hear His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj's memories of Prabhupada. Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj appears to be very strict and perfectionist and performed impossible services for Srila Prabhupada, always successful in whatever was given to him, whether it was obtaining a land in Mayapur, obtaining a land in Vrindavan, doing book distribution in the Radha Damodar Sankirtan party, bringing in new devotees, brahmacharis, preaching in China, communist China in those days. Any service that was given, he was always very successful. But if you hear Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj's memories of Srila Prabhupada, he tells how many times Srila Prabhupada chastised him. Have you heard? Just type Tamal Krishna Goswami Prabhupada memories on YouTube. And there are nice memories. And you'll hear Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj narrating how he was chastised by Prabhupada time and again and again and again. That disciple who is chastised makes spiritual advancement. So when I was reading this pastime of our Prabhupada, Abhay Babu, before he was initiated, being chastised by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada in this way, you like to talk? Why don't you come here and sit and then talk? In my heart, I took it as a very great prediction and very great benediction by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is indicating to the world that in the future, he is going to take my seat. He is going to become the Acharya and he is going to preach like no one all over the world. When he talks, the Bhaktivedanta purports will manifest. The BBT will manifest. The December book distribution marathon will manifest. 108 temples will manifest. Thousands of devotees all over the world, all the 6 continents will manifest when Abhay Babu talks. It's a prediction, hidden prediction by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That's how I took it in my heart. But the fact is that Srila Prabhupada says he was very scared. And Prabhupada said, I made it a point and I never again spoke when Gurudev was speaking. Because how can we hear attentively if we are distracted speaking? So very important point. Srila Prabhupada is saying that Parishit Maharaj heard Shukdev Goswami like an ardent student. And what was the effect of such bona fide hearing and chanting? Both were benefited, equally benefited. So further down in the purport it is said, the sages of Naimisharanya were very respectful in hearing about Maharaj Parikshit because of his receiving knowledge from Sri Shukdev Goswami by means of ardent hearing, Ugra Shrava. Ardent hearing from the bona fide spiritual master is the only way to receive transcendental knowledge. See, I'm going to repeat this sentence. Srila Prabhupada is writing, ardent hearing from the bona fide spiritual master is the only way to receive transcendental knowledge. Therefore, my dear friends, we must hear the Hari Katha, the lectures of our spiritual master. This is not a detail. If you are not doing that, start doing that from today, please. Hear the lectures of your spiritual master. That is the only way to develop an intimate connection with Shri Guru, even in the absence of physical personal association. We have to bathe our consciousness with the perfect words of Shri Guru. That way we are always connected. So we go to next verse number 4. Now, Shri Shaunak Rishi has inquired from Shri Suta Goswami about the birth, life, and the death of the glorious king, Shri Parikshit Maharaj. So now, Shri Suta Goswami is going to speak. The very, very important, beautiful verse, please relish it. Api palad dharmarajaha pitravad ranjayan prajah nispriha sarvakamebhyah krishna padanusevaya. Who wants to read this verse once? Recite it, sing it once. Yes, Satyarupa Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Suta uvacha apipalad dharmarajah pitravat ranjayan prajaha nisprahah sarva kamebhyah Krishna padanusevaya.
Very good. Now read the word to word.
Suta uvacha, Sri Suta Goswami said, Apipalat, administered prosperity, Dharmarajah, King Yudhishthira, Pitravat, exactly like his father.
Okay, stop.
Ranjayi.
Stop. See. So, Api Palat means he administered. He was the king. He administered the duties of a king. Dharmaraja is King Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir Maharaj administered over his kingdom Pitra, like his father. Who was the father? Maharaj Pandu. Maharaj Pandu was a great king. And he was so great that after strengthening, consolidating the kingdom, he went to the forest to live a simple life with his two wives, Kunti and Madri. So Maharaj Yudhishthira was just like his glorious father, Maharaj Pandu. And following in the footsteps of his father, Maharaj Yudhishthira, who is called Dharmaraj, he administered his kingdom. Now read, continue, Mataji.
Ranjayan, pleasing. Prajaha, all those who took birth.
Okay, stop. So see, Ranjayan means to please. We say Radha Ranjan means it's the name of Krishna who gives pleasure to Śrīmati Radharani. Radha Ranjan means Radha Raman, one who gives pleasure to Śrīmati Radharani. So here, King Yudhishthir, Maharaj Yudhishthir is giving pleasure to who? Ranjayan Prajaha, to his Praja. Anyone who took birth. Okay, Mataji, continue.
Nispraha, without personal ambition. Sarva, all. Kamebhyah, from sense gratification. Krishna Pada, the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, Anusevaya, by dint of rendering continuous service.
Jai. Read the translation, Mataji, please.
Translation, Suta Goswami said, Emperor Yudhishthira administered generously to everyone during his reign. He was exactly like his father. He had no personal ambition and was freed from all sorts of sense gratification because of his continuous service unto the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Krishna.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. So what are the qualities of Maharaj Yudhishthir? He was like his father, number one. Number two, he was nispriha. He had no personal ambitions. And he was free from sarva kamebhya. He was free from all desires for sense gratification. Atmendriya priti ichha, tarabale kam. Kam means indriya tripti. So he had no desire for sense gratification. Sarva kamebhya. All his desires were offered where Krishna Padanu Sevaya. They were offered at the lotus feet of Krishna. Always engaged in the service of Krishna. That was the next quality. Krishna Padanu Sevaya. Always rendering service to the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. These are the qualities of Dharmaraj, Maharaj Yudhishthira. Now let us look at the purport. There is a need for the science of Krishna in human society, for all the suffering humanity of the world. And we simply request the leading personalities of all nations, all the leaders in society, to take to the science of Krishna for their own good, for the good of society, and for the good of all the people of the world. Nowadays, the most common, most prevalent form of administration in different countries is democracy. It is a government by the people, of the people, for the people. But we don't see peace, prosperity, happiness anywhere. Whether it is communism, capitalism, democracy, socialism, dictatorship, nowhere. Why? Because Krishna is not in the center. Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness means for their good, for the good of society, and for the good of all the people. This is better than just theoretically saying of the people, by the people, for the people. But people are going to hell. So what is the use? But Krishna consciousness is for the real welfare. Shreya. Shreya Kairava Chandrika. Real good. Shreya. So it is confirmed herein by the example of Maharaj Yudhishthir who is the personality of goodness. In India, people hanker after Ram Rajya. Why? Because the personality of Godhead, Shri Dasharathi Ram, he was ideal king. And there was so much prosperity in Ram Rajya. So everybody wants Ram Rajya. To get Ram Rajya, we have to be Ram conscious. We have to be Krishna conscious. So how you can have Ram Rajya without Ram? So we have to understand there is a need for Krishna consciousness. Further down, Srila Prabhupada says something very beautiful. Herein the word praja is significant. The etymological import, meaning of the word praja is that which is born. Praja. Prakrishta rupena. Janma. Means all that are born. Not just human beings. All of them that are born. Ja means janma, to be born. On earth, there are many species of life. Prabhupada is writing. Look at the purport. On the earth, there are many species of life. From the aquatics up to the perfect human beings. Human being is the most advanced species. And all are known as prajas. Lord Brahma, the creator of this particular universe, is known as Prajapati because he is the father of all the species. So everybody who is born is praja. And what was Dharmaraj Maharaj Yudhishthir doing? He was Ranjayan Prajaha. He was giving pleasure, protecting and giving pleasure to the all praja. Praja, nowadays it means only human beings, right? But Prabhupada is saying, no. Even the ants are born in the kingdom. Even the deer are born. Even the birds, even the bear and the tigers, they are also born in this land. Whether it is Mother India or whether it is America, whichever the country is. Praja means anybody who has taken Janma there. They are all citizens, not just human beings. And all of them deserve protection and fair treatment. You cannot treat a dog very nicely. In America, there are recipe books for dogs. There are boarding homes, grooming parlors for dogs. There are health insurance plans for dogs. And when you make a will and trust, there are, people leave their inheritance for their dogs and cats. Okay, but then why are you so inimical towards the cows? Why are you inimical towards the goat, sheep, hen, fish? Why are you eating them and treating them so unfairly? Have you seen those big trucks going on the highway with hundreds of chicken, hens crammed up? It is so painful to even see them. So, Praja means all the species of life that have appeared, and all of them deserve protection. It is mentioned that Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, we can learn from the lives of great saints and great devotees. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in Maharashtra, every year he used to send donation to Samartha Ramdas Swami for celebration of Ram Navami, because they are Ram Bhaktas. So for Ram Navami, every year he would send donation, bullock carts full with grains and everything, ghee, whatever is vegetables, fruits, whatever is required for the Ram Navami Mahotsav that used to take place at Sajjangarh near Satara in Maharashtra. And one year, Shivaji Maharaj had gone to Karnataka, to the place of Satyarupa Mataji and Janani Mataji. Karnataka, Mataji? Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj had gone to Karnataka for a war. And it was Ram Navami time. So Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj forgot to give instructions that make sure you send the samagri, all the paraphernalia to Sajjangarh for the celebration of Ram Navami that Samartha Ramdas Swami arranges. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj forgot because he was busy in the war on the Karnataka front, far away from Satara. So all the disciples, they were telling Guruji, Ramdas Swami, that maybe we should write a letter to Shivaji Maharaj or contact the palace and ask for donation. So Swami Ramdas said, Shri Rama Samartha, Lord Ramchandra is capable of taking care. We don't have to beg any mortal. It is the festival of Lord Ram and Lord Ram will take care of it. Don't worry. And then Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was not there. So Swami Ramdas, he sat in a cave and his disciple Kalyan was sitting next to him. And he spontaneously spoke manache shlok. Ganadhishajo isha sarva gunansa mularambha arambhato nirgunansa namo sharada mula chatvarvatsa gamu pantha anantara raghavaca mana sajjana bhakti panthe chizave tari shri hari pavijeto swabhave. All these manache shlok, I think there are 205 or something. He spontaneously spoke and Kalyan wrote them down. Then Swami Ramdas told him, go to the nearby villages, all my disciples, stand in front of each house, read one shlok. Every verse there is glorification of Krishna and Bhakti. Like, Mana Sajjana Bhakti Panthi Chidave. Oh my dear mind, follow the path of Bhakti Yoga. Mana Sajjana, oh Sajjan mind, oh my dear. Thoda sa butter laga rahe mind ko. Oh my dear mind, oh you are so Sajjan. Follow the path of Bhakti Yoga. Mana Sajjana Bhakti Panthi Chidave. Tari Shri Hari Pavijeto Swabhave. Very easily, Sahaji Bhagwan Hari mil jayenge. अगर भक्ति योग फॉलो कर दो, सिंपल, मना सज्जना भक्ति पंथे जावे तरी श्री हरि पाविजे तो स्वभाव. So stand in front of each house, loudly recite one shlok from Manache shlok, one verse. Whatever dakshina comes, you accept, move to the next house. Don't beg. If they want to give, they will give. So all the disciples, hundreds of disciples, they went to all the villages, and very soon there were bullock carts filled with donations coming, and the Ram Janmotsav, it was celebrated with even more pomp and festivities than the other years. So then Shivaji Maharaj came and he realized his oversight, realized his mistake, and apologetic. But the point is that Krishna takes care of everything. On another occasion, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, it is said that he had little pride that I have been sending all these donations to the Akhada of Swami Ramdas, so I am maintaining them. So Swami Ramdas told Shivaji Maharaj that you see that rock over there on the side of the mountain, go and move it. Shivaji Maharaj moved it, and there was a frog underneath that rock, in those crevices, hiding, staying, living. So Swami Ramdas asked Shivaji Maharaj, who is feeding and who is maintaining that frog? Are you maintaining? You think you are maintaining our whole Akhada with your donations. Who is maintaining that frog? Immediately Shivaji Maharaj understood that it is Krishna who is maintaining. He is the maintainer. Krishna is the Dhata, Sarvasya Dhataram. In 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Krishna is the maintainer of everyone. What is that verse? Kavim Puranam Anushashataram Anoraniyam. Somebody can find that verse. It's 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Kavim Puranam Anushashataram. In that Sarvasya Dhataram, that description comes. Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat. And beyond all. Mataji, go ahead. Who knows the verse? Satyarmadaji, go ahead. Yeah, 8.9. Kavim Puranam Anushashataram Anor Aniyam Samanusmaredyaha Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam. Sarvasya Dhataram. Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam. Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat. What is the translation of this? Somebody can share. Jayakumar Prabhu. That Sarvasya Dhataram. What is the meaning? Who is the, see, I'm highlighting it. Who is the maintainer of everything? Sarvasya Dhataram. So that was the point. Sarvasya Dhataram. Krishna is the maintainer of everyone. We should not think that we are maintaining. So Praja means all living entities, including the frogs, including the people, including the animals, including the sadhus, everyone, including the soldiers, and everyone has to be maintained because Krishna is maintaining everyone and the king is the representative of Krishna. So everyone has to be maintained. And that is Prabhupada's point, that why we are maintaining slaughterhouses and saying that we are civilized. We cannot be civilized when we are eating the flesh of poor, helpless animals, when we have other less violent options like eating grains, beans, vegetables, fruits, milk products. So many things are there. That is the point. Krishna is a maintainer of everyone, and a king, being a representative of God, should maintain everyone. As an ideal king, Maharaj Yudhishthira had no personal ambition, Srila Prabhupada is writing. And there was no place for sense gratification. Because all his senses at all times were engaged in the loving service of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Krishna Padanu Sevaya, as the verse says. Those who are busy rendering service to the parts and parcels, leaving aside the whole, only spoil time and energy. So mundane charity without Krishna consciousness is useless. As when watering the leaves of a tree without watering the root. It has no meaning. You just soak the leaves in water, but you don't soak the roots in water. What is the use? If water is poured on the root, the leaves are hydrated, enlivened perfectly and automatically. What is that verse in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam? Yatha tarormula.
Yatha tarormula nishechanena tripyanti yakskanda bhujopashaka pranapaharam chaitindriyanam
Achyutejya.
sarvarhanam achyutejya.
Something like that. So two examples are given here. If you water the roots of the tree, the branches, leaves are hydrated. If you feed the stomach, the whole senses, the whole body gets nourished. You have to just put the food in the stomach. If you put the food in the hand, nothing will happen. You put the food in the ear, nothing will happen. You put the food on your head, nothing will happen. You have to put the food inside the stomach. Once the food goes in the stomach, it is digested, absorbed, and the whole body gets nourished. Similarly, you put water on the roots, you don't have to separately water the branches, the fruits, the flowers, the leaves. No, they automatically get water. So like that. If you worship Krishna, if you offer your love to Krishna, everybody is an ansh of Krishna. Everybody is a part and parcel of Krishna. So everybody gets satisfied. You don't have to separately serve others. By serving Krishna, everything is obtained. And the praman for that is in Mahabharata, where Durvasa Muni came with all his disciples in the forest at the ashram of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Same, we are reading about Maharaj Yudhishthira. And they had no facilities. Maharaj Yudhishthira loved to serve the sadhus, but he had no facilities in the forest. Draupadi had already eaten from the Akshaya Patra. Akshaya Patra was washed and kept. And Duryodhana specifically sent Durvasa Muni so that he will get displeased and he will curse the Pandavas. When Krishna came, Draupadi prayed, Krishna came immediately. He ate the piece of shak, the small leaf from the Akshaya Patra, and Yasmin Tushtam Jagat Tushtam. If Krishna is satisfied, then everybody is satisfied. Everybody is completely satisfied. Durvasa Muni and all his 60,000 disciples were so full because Krishna was satisfied. When Nakul invited them, they said, what to speak of eating? We cannot even do achaman. Achaman karne ka bhi space nahi hai. We are full till here. They all ran away. So like that. If Krishna is satisfied, everyone is satisfied. That is the principle. Text 5. Sampada kritavo loka mahishi bhrataro mahi jambudvipadhipatyam cha yashascha trividam datam. News even reached the celestial planets about Maharaj Yudhishthira's worldly possessions, the sacrifices by which he would attain a better destination. His queen, Srimati Draupadi Devi, his stalwart brothers, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, Sahadev, his extensive land, his sovereignty over the planet Earth, and his fame, etc. It was spreading everywhere. Jambudvip means the whole Bhumandala. So the fame of Maharaj Yudhishthira spread everywhere. All the celestial planets, lower planets, middle planets, everywhere they were talking about Maharaj Yudhishthira's devotion to Krishna, his devoted wife, his powerful brothers, his supreme dominion over earth. He was a Chakravarti Samrat, and he was ruling based on the principles of Krishna consciousness. So it was like Ram Rajya. So everywhere they were talking. So this is the thing. When we glorify Krishna, we become glorified. I repeat, when we glorify Krishna, we become glorified. What did Prabhupada do? Did Prabhupada ever try to glorify himself? He wrote 2 bhajans on Jalduta. Did he tell his disciples, print them in the Vaishnava songbook? No. When they were cleaning Prabhupada's trunk, they accidentally found those Jalduta diary. Now Jalduta diary has become a book. And those 2 songs, Markine Bhagavad Dharma and other songs, they are included in the Vaishnava songbook. Prabhupada never tried to advertise himself or to glorify himself. But because Srila Prabhupada was a perfect worshipper of Radha and Krishna, Radha Govinda, Radha Damodar, Radha Ras Vihari, Srila Prabhupada was a perfect acharya, perfect servant, perfect worshipper of Radha Krishna. Srila Prabhupada is supremely glorified. Everywhere, every day there is Guru Puja in 6 continents. Nobody is worshipped like that. Tell me example of somebody who was born who disappeared more than 50, 60 years ago, who is glorified like this. Nobody. So many people, they're just distributing Prabhupada's books on the streets this whole month. Is anybody paying them? Nothing. Love, respect. Srila Prabhupada got it because of his surrender to Krishna. Purport. The name and fame of Maharaj Yudhishthira reached the higher planets because of his good administration, his worldly possessions, glorious wife Draupadi. Draupadi was very glorious. She was a sati. She was a pativrata nari, very great. When she was being disrobed by Dushyasan in the Kuru Sabha, she was asking Maharaj Dhritarashtra, she was asking Shri Bhishma Dev, she was asking Kripacharya, Dronacharya, can you tell me what is the opinion of Dharma? Am I still the wife of Maharaj Yudhishthira and the Pandavas, or have they lost me? How can they gamble me like a commodity? How can they lose me? Because if I am still the wife of the Pandavas, then with my the power of my tapasya, the power of my chastity, I can destroy the whole Kuru Vamsha. This Dushyasan, Duryodhan, Karna, Shakuni, I can destroy all of them with one shrap. Such was the power of Draupadi. Such a powerful. She said, I don't need to take help from any of you. But just tell me, what is the principle of Dharma? Am I still the wife? Because she was told that Yudhishthira Maharaj had lost her. And now she belonged to Duryodhan. Hare Krishna. And Bhishma Dev refused to answer that question. He said, the Dharma, the subtleties of Dharma are very mysterious. I cannot answer your question. And because Bhishma Dev could not answer that question, Draupadi Devi was silent. She did not curse. But she had so much power, she could have cursed and destroyed the whole Kuru Vansha. And that's why Maharaj Dhritarashtra got so afraid of Draupadi Devi. He said, ask for any benediction, ask for any benediction. And then she asked, release my husbands, give back their weapons, like that she asked. So that is the power of a sati. A sati is that lady whose mind never goes to another man, only her husband. And a sati has as much power as a yati. Yati is a sannyasi. As much power a yati has, as much power Durvasa Muni has, that much power a sati also has, like Draupadi. Like Draupadi Devi. You see now, Durvasa Muni came with his power. And what did Draupadi do? She, sati, with her power, she just called Krishna and Durvasa Muni ran away. That is the power of a sati. Also, yati is very powerful. Srila Radha Govinda Maharaj, in his Harikatha, he was saying that 2 types of persons have the power to curse, and their curse will take effect. One is a sati nari, who has never put her heart, her mind on another man. Very rare to find such a woman in today's world, with all due respect, but very rare. It is possible, very rare. So sati nari, she has the power to curse. And number 2 is a Brahman who has never in his life spoken a lie. A Brahman who has never spoken a lie in whole life. I don't think there are, this is common thing. Such people are to be found. So Srila Radha Govinda Maharaj said, anybody other than these 2 categories of people, if they curse, their curse will not have any effect. Hare Krishna. Anybody who has lied doesn't have the power to curse. And anybody who is not sati has no power to curse. Therefore, Srila Radha Govinda Maharaj said, if somebody is cursing you, don't worry. The curse is not going to work. Because practically everybody in Kali Yuga has lied at some point in their life. So therefore, Maharaj Yudhishthira, he had never lied in his whole life. Until he was asked to lie by Krishna. So Draupadi, the strength of his brothers Bhima and Arjun, and his solid So Bhim and Arjun means it includes Nakul and Sahadev also. They were also glorious. And his solid sovereignty over the world, known as Jambudvip. Here, the word Loka is significant. There are different Lokas or higher planets scattered all over the sky, both material and spiritual. A person can reach those higher planets by dint of his good work in the present life. That is the way to reach. Further down, Srila Prabhupada writes, one must qualify himself to enter into such happy planets. How does one qualify? Through sacrifice and service, Prabhupada says. Through sacrifice and service. Those who are sinful in every step of life can expect only to be degraded into animal life to suffer more and more the pangs of material existence. Urdhva gachanti sattvastha, madhya tishtanti rajasa, jagana guna vrittisa, adho gachanti tamasa. If we perform sinful activities, we go down. Next verse number 6. Kim te kama sura sparha mukunda manasodvijaha adhijahur mudam rajnaha Shuditasya Yathetare. Translation. Sri Suta Goswami is telling Shaunak Ādi Rishis, O Brahmanas, the opulence of King Yudhishthir was so enchanting that the denizens of heaven aspired for it. But because he was absorbed in the service of Krishna, nothing could satisfy him except Krishna's service. This is the nature of a pure devotee. Prabhupada writes in the purport, there are two things in the world which satisfy living beings. Two things satisfy living beings. One, when one is materially engrossed, he is satisfied only by sense gratification. So when somebody is on a material plane, only material things satisfy them. But when one is liberated from the conditions of the material modes, he is satisfied only by rendering loving service for the satisfaction of Krishna. Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. That is for a devotee. A materialist is satisfied by sense enjoyment, Indra Tripti. A bhakta is satisfied by Krishna Seva, nothing else. There are two types of people. And satisfied and happy with two types of things. Further down, being illusioned by the conditions of material existence or external energy of Krishna, Bahiranga Shakti, one falsely thinks himself to be served. I am the savior vastu. Actually, we are sevak. But they think that I am savior. I am to be served because they are under illusion. But actually, he is not served. He is servant of his senses. So the biggest sense gratifiers in this world, they are actually servants of their senses. They cannot control Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivha Vegam, Udar Upastha Vegam. These 6 urges they cannot control. They are Godas. They think they are masters, they are Swamis. They are controllers, but actually they are Godas. They are servants of their own senses. Prabhupada writes. He is servant. A materialist is a servant of the senses like lust, desire, anger, avarice, pride, madness, and intolerance. Maharaj Yudhishthir was one of the liberated souls, and therefore for him there was no pleasure in the vast kingdom, good wife, obedient brothers, happy subjects, and prosperous world. These things were not the source of happiness for Maharaj Yudhishthir, because these things are Shanabhangur. These things are temporary, they will be destroyed. All these things. What are these things? Vast kingdom, is it permanent? Good wife, permanent? Obedient brothers, is it permanent? Happy subjects and prosperous world, is that permanent? No. Bhagavad Gita explains time is cyclical. Satya Yug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, Kali Yug. It just goes in cycles. Nothing is permanent. Anityam, Asukham, Lokam. So all these things are temporary. Mrutyu sarva haraschaham, Krishna says. All these things will be taken away at death. These blessings automatically follow for a pure devotee. These blessings come to a pure devotee. All these opulences, they may come. Krishna may give. Ashta Siddhi Nava Nidhi Ke Data Asabaradina Janaki Mata. One Ashirvad, Janaki Mata. So these are all blessings of Radharani. Ashta Siddhi Nava Nidhi. Material opulences. They are called Nidhi. So these come naturally to a devotee. Ambarish Maharaj, he had everything. Vast, unrivaled kingdom. Maharaj Prataprudra, very nice kingdom he had. Good family, good children, good wife, good servants, good subjects, good pujaris, everything was there. and Mahaprabhu was living. But these kingdom, money, wealth, they were not the source of happiness for him, for them. Like Maharaj Parikshit, Maharaj Prataprudra, Maharaj Ambarish. What was the source of their happiness? Anybody can raise your hand and say, what was the source of happiness for these Rajarshis? Okay, I will answer. It was Krishna Seva. Krishna Seva. The whole material world is full of hungry living beings. The hunger is for the spiritual atmosphere. There is so much hunger in this world. The hunger is not for food. The hunger is for spiritual food, nourishment of the soul. The soul is hungry and thirsty for spiritual nourishment. People will not be satisfied because there is not sufficient food, shelter, defense, objects of sense gratification. This is called illusion. People think that if we have roti, kapda, makan, we will become happy. But this is illusion, isn't it? Because even in rich countries, some of the richest people, businessmen, industrialists, actors, actresses, Hollywood, Bollywood, they commit suicide, isn't it? Some of the famous celebrities have committed suicide, which means roti, kapda, makan is not the most important thing in life. Most important thing in life is happiness. And happiness comes from Satchid Ananda Vigraha, Krishna, who is Ananda Vigraha. But the foolish leaders cannot see that even the people who are most sumptuously materially satisfied are still hungry for the soul. The soul is hungry. And what is their hunger? Prabhupada is asking. What is their hunger and what is their poverty? The hunger is actually for spiritual food, spiritual shelter, spiritual defense, and spiritual sense gratification. Look at Prabhupada's poetic ability, yet the profound truth that Srila Prabhupada is conveying to all of us. Listen carefully. There is Ahar, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithun. Correct? Animals also do that, and animal like human beings also do that. And that is all they do. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithunamscha, Samanamedat Pashubhir Narana. Pashu and Nara both do these four things. Ahar, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithun. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Prabhupada is saying, but the real hunger is for eating, spiritual food. Eating, sleeping, spiritual shelter. Bhaya, defending, spiritual defense. And Maithun, spiritual sense gratification. The actual hunger, Prabhupada is saying, this hunger is actually for spiritual food, spiritual shelter, spiritual defense, and spiritual sense gratification. So Ahar, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithun should be done for Krishna. And Prabhupada explains so many times, our Acharya explains so many ways how this can be done. Ahar, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithun in a Krishna conscious way. These can be obtained in the association of the Supreme Spirit, Lord Shri Krishna. In the association of Krishna, Krishna's devotees, Shri Guru, we can understand how we can do Ahar, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithun, eating, sleeping, mating, defending in a perfectly Krishna conscious way, with Krishna in the center. If you don't know the answer to this, how it is done, please open Sharanagati by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur there under Goptritve Varana and Atma Nivedana. These two limbs of Sharanagati, he has explained many bhajans explaining this. Text 7. Oh, it's 9:30 already. Okay, so we'll stop here. If there are any questions, we can continue. Or we can take. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. No questions? Kirtila Sundari Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the very beautiful class. I don't have a question related to the subject matter, but just a thought came. So, is there any mentioned anywhere in the scriptures about Yudhishthira Maharaj getting married other than Draupadi?
Not that I can remember, Mataji. As far as I remember, I can only remember Shri Draupadi Devi.
Okay.
But I can look into it if I find something.
Yes, Prabhu. Just while reading about Yudhishthira Maharaj, today I just thought came that was he ever married again?
I have not found any reference like that.
Yeah, no worry. Thank you so much. But it was really very sweet class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Divya Agrawal Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I wanted to ask, how do you define chastity of a woman? I know you said in today's time, it's very rare. But what about women who've just been with their, didn't have any other, like a boyfriend? They just were always with their husband. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
I mean,
that is chastity. That is chastity. To have one's mind only in one's spouse, only in one's husband, that is chastity. And there are so many examples. In Bhaktamal, there is the story of Raghunath Mahanti. We don't have time because it will take at least half an hour to tell this very beautiful story, but maybe someday we can narrate. But Raghunath Mahanti story is there in Bhaktamal, and he was a great devotee of Jagannath. In short, I will tell you, he came from a very pious family. His parents died at quite an early age, and he was very much attached to Jagannath. He was from Orissa, from a village near Jagannath Puri. Very attached to Jagannath. From his childhood, he would just sit for hours and hours and do kirtan. His parents were very rich. They were big zamindars, but somehow they died, and then his father was very pious. He said, "Beta Raghunath, after I die, if anybody comes and asks you that I have taken money from them or I owe them something, please don't refuse them. Give them whatever they ask for, because I want to go to Jagannath and I don't want to take birth again in this world to repay someone. So just give everything to Jagannath." And he was married. Raghunath was married to a woman, a lady called Annapurna. Raghunath was 17 years old and Annapurna was 13 years old. In those days, children got married at an early age to maintain the chastity of the woman. Because once the girl becomes adolescent, maybe her mind will go in some man. So therefore, they used to get married at an early age. So there is security also that I have a husband, and there is maintenance of chastity also, protection of chastity. So this Annapurna was married to Raghunath when she was 12 or 13 years old. And Raghunath was 17 years old when his father died. And father told him, give money to anybody who asks after I die. Don't refuse. So Raghunath was so innocent. He would be doing bhajan all day. And so many people came to know that father had instructed like that. So they would come and falsely say, "Arey, your father had taken a loan from me. Your father was zamindar. Why will take loan?" But people would come and say, and Raghunath would just give. Soon people came. They were so heartless. They even took the house. They took everything, all the wealth, even the house, everything. And poor Raghunath and his wife, Annapurna, they were on the streets, living under trees with no money. A true story. So this Annapurna, who was only 13 years old now, they got married when she was 12 years old. And for 1 year they were married. Raghunath was so devoted, he never touched his wife. They never interacted with each other as husband and wife. Never. So once in a day, the wife would just look through the corner of her eyes at her husband and just, you should be cooking for him and trying to serve him in various ways, cleaning the room, washing his clothes, etc. But they never came in physical contact. So this Annapurna had 7 brothers, and her parents also were quite rich from a different village. So they came and they took their daughter away. Because anyway, she was untouched, and it had just been 1 year in marriage. Now the in-laws are dead. Husband is living under trees. He's homeless, beggar, no money. What will our daughter do with this fellow? So they came and they took Annapurna forcefully away. Annapurna told her parents, "I don't want, this is my husband. I want to stay with him. If he lives under a tree, I will live under a tree. Why are you taking me?" They didn't listen. Took her away forcefully. And Raghunath was just there, just chanting, "Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna." Then Raghunath said, "Now my wife is gone, parents are gone, house, money, everything is gone. What do I do here? Let me go to Jagannath Puri." So he went to Jagannath Puri. He would sit in front of Simhadwar and he would just beg there and chant the names of Jagannath every day. And he told Jagannath, "From today, I am yours and you are mine. And I will never leave your doorstep. Like a dog, I will be sitting at your doorstep. You want to feed me? You feed. You don't want to feed me? I will starve. I will keep chanting your holy names," like that. Sorry, I'm getting into that story. Let me cut it short because... So anyway, so this girl, Annapurna, she never forgot her husband. And then the parents tried to get her married to another person. But she wrote a letter to Jagannath that I am married to Raghunath, who is your Ananya Bhakta. He is your pure devotee. And my parents are trying to get me married to another Zamindar's son. The Zamindar's son agreed to marry her because she was only 13 years old. She was very beautiful and she had all good qualities. So, but she didn't want to get married. She would prefer to live like a beggar with her husband rather than getting married to a rich fellow. So she wrote a letter to Jagannath and told some pilgrims who are going to Jagannath Puri that give this letter that I have written to Jagannath to Raghunath. He is usually sitting at the Simhadwar begging, and he will give it to Jagannath. So Raghunath got that letter from his wife, he gave it to Jagannath, and he left it. He said, if Jagannath wants to do something, he will do. And he took rest at night. Next day he woke up, he was in front of his wife's house in that village. How Shripad Ramanujacharya was transported from Jagannath Puri to Kurmakshetra, like that. This Raghunath was also transferred to his found himself in front of his wife's house, and then the wife's parents were his in-laws were forced to take him inside the house, and they poisoned him to kill him because the date was also already fixed, and the date was only 10 days away, the marriage date. So they brought him in the house and they decided to feed him poison. What is that tej patra? In that spices that we cook, we make biryani, pulao, we put that leaf, long leaf. What is it called? Tej patra?
It's called Tej Pata.
Bay leaf. Bay leaf.
Tej patra.
Bay leaf, yeah.
So they offered a nice thali to this Raghunath, and on that, so she was locked in the room. But somehow she had a nurse, you know what we call Aya, child mein, there's mother, and then there is a maid servant in aristocratic families who take care of the child, and they live always like servants in the house. So that Aya was there. So she was very close to the Aya. So he told the Aya, I don't want to marry this fellow. I want to be with my husband Raghunath. So what is the Shadyantra that my parents have done? Because they are treating him so nicely, there is some conspiracy. So the Aya looks in the kitchen and finds out that they have ordered a very potent poison and they mixed it in that plate. So somehow she sneaks into the kitchen, and with her kajal, she writes on that tej patra that there is vish, there is poison in this. And she keeps that patra inverted on the top and praying to Jagannath, please let my husband read it. Please let my husband read it. And that plate is served to Raghunath, and she's looking through the window, and Raghunath picks up that leaf and keeps it aside, ulta karke, and he sees, isme zahar hai, vish hai. And Annapurna sees that my husband has read it. He reads it and he puts it aside. So now she knows that he will not eat. But just then the parents come and she has to run back into the room and pretend to be locked up. And Raghunath is thinking, before I started eating this, I had mentally offered this to Jagannath. Whole plate he offered Jagannath. He said, how I cannot eat it now? My Jagannath has eaten it. It may have poison, but Jagannath has eaten it. How I will not eat? So he eats and he dies. Hare Krishna. His body turns blue, he gets poisoned and he dies. And then the family members say that let's wait for a few hours. When it becomes nightfall, we'll start howling and crying, wailing. We'll call the villagers and we'll cremate him at night only. By morning, everything will be finished. So they're just waiting. They put the dead body in another room and they're just waiting. And Annapurna asks the Aya, what happened? Can you check on my husband? She looks through the window and she finds his dead body in a room. She comes and tells Annapurna that he's died. His body has turned blue, cold. He's dead. He has eaten that poison. So Annapurna starts praying to Jagannath that, hey Jagannath, what is this? My husband has died. I cannot live without him. So I will also jump in the funeral pyre. I will go sati, but I don't want to marry. Please protect me. Please protect me. It's a long story, very beautiful story, but I'm just cutting it very short. So then, because she's such a chaste wife and she's attached to a devotee like Raghunath, Jagannath ji himself comes and enters that room where this Raghunath's dead body is. And with his own hands, he touches and pats him like this. And the Aya is watching. And Raghunath immediately comes back to life. And as soon as he opens his eyes and comes back to life, Jagannath disappears. Jagannath disappears. And then the family members come there rushing, seeing that after poisoning death also he has come alive. And through the window, even Annapurna has had darshan of Jagannath. And she says that, and then Jagannath says that, see, I am not giving darshan to Raghunath. He is my great devotee, but I am giving you darshan, Annapurna, because you are a chaste wife. So a chaste wife. So he got, and then they get married and then they go to, it's a long story, there's a fighting also. These in-laws, they tell the Jamindar with whom she's going to get married that one fellow has come and he's forcing us to marry our daughter to him, but she's engaged to you now, so you better come and do something. So they come with all the soldiers and everything, and then Jagannath and Baldev, Krishna Balram come on horse and they fight. And seeing them, all those people run away. And then Annapurna and Raghunath get married and they go to Jagannath Puri and they live the rest of their life there in Jagannath Puri, worshipping Jagannath. And and at the end of their life, they both go back to Godhead. So the moral of this story is that this Annapurna got darshan of Jagannath, got eternal residence in Jagannath Puri, and went back to Godhead simply because of her chastity and her attachment to her devotee husband. She was so chaste that she could never think of being with another man. So that is a definition of chastity. On the other hand, in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, there is a story of Bhagwan Parshuramji. His mother was Renuka and father was Jamadagni Rishi. And she just went at the time of Sandhya to bring water from the river for her husband's Sandhya Vandan and Puja Seva. We all know that story. And she saw some Gandharvas sporting in the river. Because Sham ke samay, evening time, the Gandharvas sport. She just saw and she found it nice. Dancing, singing, all this male and female Gandharvas enjoying. Not that she necessarily wanted to enjoy with the male Gandharva. Not like that. But she looked at another male Gandharva and she found their singing and dancing attractive. So she was a little delayed. Immediately through his meditation, Jamadagni came to know that Renuka has been unchaste. She has looked at another man. As soon as Parshuramji came, he told Parshuramji, first he told other sons, kill your mother. She is unchaste. The sons refused. When Parshuramji came, he said, kill your mother. Without even second thought, he killed the mother. Father said, kill the brothers also. He killed the brothers also. Oh, I am very happy with you, my dear son, Parshuram. Ask for any benediction. Bring mother and brothers back to life and let them not remember that I killed them. Point is that loss of chastity happens when our mind goes in another man. So there are two examples I gave. One is Annapurna, who is a sati. She is a chaste woman and she would never tolerate the thought of being with another man. On the other hand, we have Renuka. Of course, Mother Renuka, she is the mother of Bhagwan. This pastime happened only to teach us a lesson. We should not think that Mother Renuka was unchaste. She is Jagadamba, the Bhagwan of the whole world was in her womb. So she is the mother, universal mother. She is most chaste. But this pastime teaches us lessons, how we have to be careful. And so that is a chastity, Mataji. A woman who never thinks of another man, always dedicated to her husband all her life. That is a definition of chastity. Hare Krishna. Is that okay, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Now, realistically, in today's world, women don't get married at age of 13. They'll be probably going to college and, late mid-20s or early 20s, something like that. So that situation, you're interacting with other males and your mind may go to another man, but physically untouched. It happens very commonly. That maybe physically you didn't interact with anyone, but maybe your mind goes to another man before you get married. So does that mean the woman is unchaste?
At the time of death, if we think of Krishna, what will happen to us?
We go to Krishna Loka.
If you think of Krishna, we go to Krishna. If you think of our ancestors, Yanti Devarta, Devan, Pitri, Yanti Pitri. If you think of the Devatas, we'll go to the planet of Devatas. If you think of our family members, we'll stay with them. Whatever we think, Anta Kale Chamama Smaran Muktva Kalevaram. Whatever we think at the time of death, we will attain that form. So just by thinking of Krishna or thinking of somebody, we can attain them. Correct? So if we are thinking about another man in our mind, that is also loss of chastity because thoughts have a lot of power. So thinking of another man is loss of chastity, or in our mind getting infatuation or feelings for another man, that is loss of chastity. If by thinking of someone, we can attain that person, that much power is there in Smaran. So then if we are thinking about another man, even in our mind, body may be untouched, but that is wrong. That is loss of chastity. So therefore the Vedic culture is the best. Even with the mind, it is loss of chastity. Loss of chastity doesn't always have to be only physical. Even emotional involvement is loss of chastity, unfortunately. So that's why in Kali Yuga, everything is very contaminated. But we don't have to feel depressed about this or discouraged about this. On the path of Krishna consciousness, whatever has happened, it doesn't matter. Krishna sees what we are today. And he's promising us, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo. Whatever pap we have committed, mokshayam. Krishna will free us from all those sins. He's so merciful. Now we have to be chaste to Krishna and Guru Maharaj. Therefore, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj said, Krishna mein rakho mati, Krishna tumhare pati, Krishna se karo rati, or Krishna tumhare gati. Krishna is a destination. Become attached to Krishna. Krishna is your husband. Think of Krishna. Man mana bhava mad bhakto. Like that. So we have had so many patis. So all these examples of chaste women are given in our Shastra. Example of Annapurna is there. Example of Arundhati is there. So many examples are there in the Shastra of chaste ladies. But really, this chastity is not the highest principle of dharma. The highest principle of dharma is to be chaste to Krishna. You have to be chaste to Krishna. So now we have come to Krishna consciousness, and let us remain chaste to Guru and Krishna. And that will be the highest perfection of our life. We can get the highest destination. By being chaste to one's husband, one goes to where the husband goes. Madri was chaste to Maharaj Pandu. So why she went Sati? Because at the time of death, Maharaj Pandu had a desire to enjoy with her. But because of the curse, he died. So she told Kunti that let me go Sati. Because he had a desire to enjoy me. I want to satisfy that desire in his next life. You see? So she went Sati and she attained the same destination as Maharaj Pandu. But is that the highest principle of dharma? Savai pumsam paro dharma yato bhakti radhokshaye. It is Krishna bhakti that is the highest principle. So these things are described in Mahabharata and other scriptures, but Śrīmad Bhāgavatam teaches us the highest principle. Highest principle is Durvasaso vakyamupeta Krishna sacha bravit kananam vasinisham mantah pravishtam manasa juhava Govinda damodara madhaveti. Draupadi Devi, when Durvasa Muni came, Durvasaso vakyamupeta Krishna, when Krishna, Draupadi, she received the instructions from Durvasa Muni that he's coming. He's taking bath and coming to eat. She just antah pravishtam manasa juhava. She called out to Krishna. Govinda damodara madhaveti. That is supreme chastity, to always remember Krishna. The gopis are supremely chaste, even though they are married to other men. So our chastity is for Krishna. This chastity, it is a dharma on one level, and it is important in the Varnashram system, in the Vedic dharma. It is important, yes. But ultimately, we have to understand that our true husband is Krishna. Jivara Swarupa Krishna Ranityadas. We are true servants of Krishna, and that is our eternal relationship. We have had husbands so many times in previous life, and we have had wives also so many times. So that is not eternal dharma. That is not the highest principle of dharma. Highest principle of dharma is sarva dharma parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Krishna sharanam. Okay, Mataji? Hare Krishna. Shamchandra.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please go ahead, Prabhuji. Sorry, you have to unmute again.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandat Pranam. Thank you for your wonderful class. Prabhu, this talking of chastity, when the relationship between man and woman is, man and a woman is equal, why chastity is always associated with women and not with men? Any, this for men, can we how do you understand this? Because both the sides have to be equally chaste to each other.
Yes. So chastity is two-sided. It is both sides also. Like Lord Ramchandra was so chaste to Mother Sita. To bring Srimati Sita Devi back, he was willing to risk his life. He was willing to wage a war. Even Maharaj Yudhishthira was chaste to Draupadi Devi. To protect her dignity, they waged a war. So chastity is two ways. The only difference is in the Vedic culture, if a man has the resources and he has the personality, he can have many wives. He can have several wives. A man. If he has the resources and the personality to satisfy all of them, he can have multiple wives. But a wife generally has only one husband. Exception is there, Srimati Draupadi Devi, and also the daughter of Daksha, who got married to the Prachetas, the 5 brothers. So the 10 brothers. These exceptions are there. 2 exceptions are there, but otherwise generally a wife has only one husband. So for a woman, that chastity is most important. And for a husband, to be chaste to the path of dharma is important. And that includes being chaste to the wife. So it is two-way, but it is more given more prominence in the life of a woman because she has only one husband. And traditionally, the women did not go to Gurukul. They did not get Diksha. So they got their spiritual knowledge from their husband. And they got spiritual benefit by serving their husband in the traditional system. So like that's why the relationship with the husband, chastity with the husband, is given so much stress and importance. Okay, Prabhu?
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So there are no more questions. And Shama Kishore Mate is saying, I was also thinking of same thing now. Right now I was thinking. So everybody is thinking of how many wives Yudhishthira Maharaj had. As far as I know, only one wife. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you very much, dear devotees. See you day after tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai. Nitai.
Jai.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Dandavad Pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.